Hello friends, in the last lecture, Introduction to Pharmacology, we studied definition and concept of drug, why study pharmacology, that is importance of pharmacology and different aspects of pharmacology. Now today, in Introduction to Pharmacology Part 3, we will cover drug nomenclature, drug compendia, concepts of essential drugs, orphan drugs, prescription and non-prescription drugs, and generic drugs. This is the last part of the chapter, Introduction to Pharmacology. Drug nomenclature. A drug generally has three categories of names: A chemical name, that is generally IUPAC name; B non-proprietary name, that is a generic name; and C proprietary name, that is a brand name or trade name. Now let's consider the example of aspirin. This is the structure of aspirin. Its chemical name is 2-acetoxybenzoic acid or acetyl salicylic acid. In this structure of aspirin, this part is related to benzoic acid and this part is related to acetoxy group. Hence the name 2-acetoxybenzoic acid. Also, in the same structure, this part is related to salicylic acid and this part is related to acetyl group. Hence the name acetyl salicylic acid. Let's consider the another example of paracetamol. The chemical name of paracetamol is N,4-hydroxyphenyl acetamide. In this structure of paracetamol, this is acetamide group and this part is phenyl ring and this is hydroxy group. This overall part is hydroxyphenyl and hence the name is N,4-hydroxyphenyl acetamide. Non-proprietary, that is INN name. The INNs are generic names such as aspirin, paracetamol or acetaminophen, ampicillin, etc. Each INN is a unique standard name for a drug used globally. INN is used to avoid prescribing errors. These names for drugs are decided by an expert committee which works under WHO. Then proprietary or brand name or trade name. It is the exclusive name of a drug substance or drug product owned by a company. Example, Crocin is a GSK's trade name for paracetamol. Ecosprin is USV Limited's trade name for aspirin. Clinical trials. A clinical trial involves the testing of a new drug or a new formulation of a drug in large groups of people to evaluate the efficacy and safety of the drug or formulation. Before clinical trials, IND, that is Investigational New Drug Application, is made to Drug Controller General of India. The Central Drug Standard Control Organization, that is CDSCO, is the national regulatory authority in India for clinical trials. CTRI is the Clinical Trial Registry India maintained by ICMR. Different phases of clinical trials are Phase 1, that is Human Pharmacology Trial. This phase is related to estimation of safety and tolerability of investigational drug. Phase 2, that is Exploratory Trial. This phase is related to estimation of effectiveness and short-term side effects of investigational drug. Phase 3, that is Confirmatory Trial. This phase is related to confirmation of therapeutic benefits of investigational drug. And Phase 4, that is the post-marketing trial. Drug compendia. Drug compendia are compilations of useful information on drugs in the form of monographs. Pharmacopoeias and formularies are such compendia available. Friends, you might have seen terms like IP and BP with the names of drugs on the label of a drug product. What is the meaning and importance of these terms? Can you tell me? IP is Indian Pharmacopoeia and BP is British Pharmacopoeia. This labeling indicates that these products comply with the standards of IP and BP respectively. Pharmacopoeias. Pharmacopoeia is a document containing methods of standardization of drugs and their common formulations. Indian Pharmacopoeia is an officially recognized book of standards as per the Drugs and Cosmetic Act 1940 and Rules 1945 thereunder. There should be uniform standards of the drugs throughout the country. To achieve this objective, the Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission, an autonomous institution under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, prepares and publishes Indian Pharmacopoeia. 8th edition of Indian Pharmacopoeia is the latest edition available. As specified in the second schedule of the Drugs and Cosmetic Act, all the drugs and their formulations which are included in Indian Pharmacopoeia, whether manufactured or imported in India, must comply with the standards of identity, purity and strength specified in the latest edition of the Indian Pharmacopoeia. The official pharmacopoeia of other countries like BP, USP, etc. are also allowed in India. BP is British Pharmacopoeia and USP is United States Pharmacopoeia. Drugs which are not included in the IP but are included in the official pharmacopoeia of other countries, whether manufactured or imported in India, must comply with the standards of identity, purity and strength specified for drugs in the latest edition of such official pharmacopoeia. Formularies. Formulary is the list of indications, dose, dosage forms, contraindications, precautions, adverse effects and storage of selected drugs that are available for medicinal use. Examples of formularies are National Formulary of India, British National Formulary, etc. Formularies are produced in easily carried booklet form. They are considerably helpful to prescribers. Then Martindale, the Complete Drug Reference. It is a reference book. It is published every 2 to 3 years by the Royal Pharmaceutical Society of Great Britain. It is non-official compendium of an exhaustive and updated compilation of unbiased information on medicines used or registered all over the world. It includes the new launches and contains pharmaceutical, pharmacological as well as therapeutic information on drugs. Physician's Desk Reference PDR. It is a compilation of manufacturers' prescribing information on prescription drugs. It is designed to provide physicians with the full legally mandated information relevant to writing prescriptions. The PDR is available online as pdr.net for free. Essential drug concept. As per the WHO, essential medicines are those that satisfy the priority health care needs of the population. The list is prepared by considering disease prevalence, efficacy, safety, and comparative cost effectiveness of the drugs. Such drugs are intended to be available in adequate amounts, in appropriate dosage forms and strength, with assured quality and at an affordable price. Preparation of an essential medicine list is expected to result in better quality of medical care, better management of medicines, and cost-effective use of healthcare resources. The essential medicines list is intended to have a positive impact on the availability and rational use of medicines. The essential medicines list is especially important for resource-limited countries like India. National List of Essential Medicine, India. The NLEM can 1. Guide safe and effective treatment of priority disease conditions of a population. 2. Promote the rational use of medicines. 3. Optimize the available health resources. 4. Guide state governments to prepare their list of essential medicines. 5th, assist in procurement and supply of medicines in the public sector. 6th, help in deciding policies regarding reimbursement by insurance companies and reimbursement of cost of medicines by organizations to its employees. And 7th, identify the must-know domain for the teaching and training of healthcare professionals. Prescription and non-prescription drugs. Prescription drugs are those drugs which must be sold in retail only against a prescription issued to a patient by a registered medical practitioner. In India, they have been placed in the Schedule H of the Drugs and Cosmetic Rules 1945 as amended from time to time. Examples of Schedule H drugs are antibiotics, acyclovir, that is antiviral drug, ketoconazole, that is antifungal drug, etc. The drugs which can be sold in retail without a prescription are non-prescription or over-the-counter OTC drugs. Examples are paracetamol, aspirin, antacids, laxatives, etc. Orphan drugs. These are the drugs for diagnosis or treatment or prevention of a rare disease or a more common disease in poor countries for which there is no profit to the pharmaceutical companies. Even the cost of developing and marketing such drugs don't get recovered from their sales. Governments in developed countries offer tax benefits and other incentives to pharmaceutical companies for developing and marketing orphan drugs. Generic drugs. A generic drug is a medication that has exactly the same active ingredient as the already marketed brand name drug and yields the same therapeutic effect. It may differ from the brand name drug in some characteristics such as the manufacturing process, formulation, excipient, color, taste, and packaging. However, a generic drug can only be marketed after the expiry of patent of brand name drug. Tablet available in market as Crocin Advance 500 mg is a branded drug, while tablet available as Paracetamol 500 mg is a generic drug. Friends, thank you very much for watching this tutorial video. This video is followed by a test. Please click on the link given below and take the test. All the best for the test.